Welcome to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Night Nation's only call-in show goes live now.
Already live from the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studios. This is Knightline, the morning after. I'm Andrew Phegley. Joining me here today, Jeff Allen and Big Social 32, Ben Stout. How you guys doing? That was kind of weird.
How are you?
I'm good.
Morning, you just got shot out of a cannon, but that's okay.
It's okay. It's all right. It happens.
Starting off with a bang.
Yeah, literally. All right. Well, we got all kinds of stuff to talk about. Chase is with us as well there. Chase Bunker at the controls.
Yes, I'm still here. I haven't shot out of a cannon yet.
Well, it's
give
good.
It time.
It's good. Yeah, it's all good. All right. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. How you guys doing?
I'm doing great. Doing wonderful.
Right.
Yeah, doing good. Ready to talk some men's hoops and AAC championship implications, all that good stuff.
All kinds of stuff. All right. This is Knightline, the morning after, by the way. We're taking your calls at 844-225-5580 on the Dever team line, or your texts at 21232 on the Little Greek Fresh Grill text line, or you can reach me, AP_Knightline on Twitter. I guess the big headline is UCF basketball wins over NJIT. A lot of letters there.
Yeah.
Wheel of Fortune. Yeah.
Yeah, 78-65. Ben, that's your deal. So let's since you're the basketball guy, you played for UCF. Tell us just a little bit about that. An overall synopsis, real quick.
Yeah, I think the overall synopsis, and I was able to make that game with my family, so I was in the building. But I think the overall synopsis is that there was a huge talent gap between us and NJIT, and we were able to take advantage of that. We essentially cruised to the victory. It was never really in doubt. There was a stretch in the first half for about 6 minutes of game clock where UCF struggled a little bit. They kind of stopped really playing hard and let them go on a little bit of a run. But as soon as they cut it within 3 or 2 points or so, they stepped on the gas. Darren Green hit two quick threes, and it was all over from there. So it wound up being a 13-point win, but the score wasn't even close to an indicator of how we blew them out.
Was there anybody in the game that had an exceptional day or anything for as far as UCF goes?
Yeah, I'd say Dre Fuller and Cesar DeJesus both had great games. Cesar DeJesus was really just efficient from the floor, 7 of 9 shooting. And he was kind of doing it all yesterday. Dre Fuller hit some big shots in some key moments that kind of crushed their spirits a bit. So I'd say those two players in particular. But this is a game against an opponent that wasn't very good compared to us, and so we got a lot of players coming in off the bench that were able to come in and get some minutes, and so there was some balanced scoring, that's for sure.
Cool, awesome. All right, well, the other stuff I have on our agenda for today, I guess. I always make this little agenda. Obviously, when you have a radio show, you have to make some kind of an agenda. So my agenda is, what are the expectations for men's basketball this season? Because I think they may have changed a little bit because of what's happened so far. I mean, honestly. So we'll get to that later. What bowl game do you think the football team's going to be in? That should be coming up later on today. That's going to be exciting to see. We're going to talk a little bit about football transfers because there's a couple guys from UCF that have entered their name into the transfer portal, the imaginary transfer portal. I think of this like, what was that show? There was a show on TV back in the day. Stargate. That's what. Thank you, Chase.
I don't know how I got that, considering you just said show in the 90s. I'm like, oh, it's obviously Stargate.
That was awesome, though, because it's perfect. That's exactly what I was thinking. All right. I would have never come up with that either. So that's what when I close my eyes and I think of what the transfer portal is, it's like Stargate. There's this thing in a room, and you walk into it, and you're suddenly on a different football
I don't
team.
think you're alone in that. I really don't.
It's very mysterious. Gabe Davis going to the NFL. He's made his official announcement. Volleyball loses to to UF, unfortunately. I like to say FU instead of UF, but I don't know if I can say that. I guess I just did.
You just did.
He may have just bleeped that.
I'm doing it to cover our hide.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, it is Florida University. Oh, I guess it's the University of Florida. Anyway, they won that game in 3 sets in the NCAA tournament there. Kind of a real disappointment there. Unfortunately, the girls played their hearts out, though. A great season. And then Mike Norvell to FSU, ? LOL. Because we all know that that's going to happen. So I guess let's start with that. Let's go from the back all the way back up to the top.
Well, this is interesting because, this is what G5 schools have to face in the current setup. Getting to the New Year's Six, there's nothing else he can do. He's accomplished everything he can do at this level. So this is going to continue to happen at this particular stage because those coaches are going to get poached. It's just no two ways about it.
Yeah. So the Memphis coach, Mike Norvell, is supposedly going to be announced today. I don't expect anything different as the head coach of FSU. So, it is what it is, I guess. It's eerily, it reminds me a lot, eerily, of what happened with Scott Frost going to Nebraska. We all knew Scott Frost was going to Nebraska, but the broadcast crew kept talking about it during the game. They asked him right after the game on the field. He didn't really say yes. He didn't really say no, blah, blah, blah. And then, we all know how that went down. But anyway.
At least to the best of our knowledge, Memphis wasn't talking to him back in October at a hotel on the road like Nebraska did with us.
And Norvell didn't exactly wear a garnet and gold button-up as he was walking into the Liberty Bowl yesterday for the AAC championship. So that was a little bit different there. Yeah. But pretty much besides those two things, it was very, very similar.
I know that everybody here has opinions on this. So, Ben, you want to go, and then we'll get to Chase.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you said, Andrew, it was very similar to what happened a couple years ago with Scott Frost. But as far as Norvell going to FSU, I think it'll be good for them. It'll be probably good for UCF that Norvell is no longer there. He has done a good job with recruiting, and he's built up that program. Kind of springboarded off of Fuentes, kind of taking him one step, and he's taken him a much bigger step further. He is a bit of a program builder, and that'll benefit FSU. But he is, as he's shown against UCF, he has yet to prove that he's a big game coach. And so that is a question mark moving into the FSU job for him. And it'll be really interesting from an American Conference perspective. And a UCF fan perspective, where Memphis goes from here. They're kind of at a turning point, and we'll see what happens.
I mean, I hope he kills it at FSU. Yeah, me too. I hope he completely kills it. But there is definitely question marks as far as winning that big game. He won the big game yesterday, but really it's the first time in his career that he ever won that big game.
Yeah, and there was a drive towards the end that you weren't quite sure if he was gonna blow it again in the big game.
Right,
so
right.
Yeah.
Chase.
Well, who would have thought that FSU's brass was about as porous as their O-line? They can't hold a secret as well as that FSU can't hold a block. But that's neither here nor there. I think that it was a great hire, and what sucks is I don't know how Memphis will recover, because Memphis was part of the reason why the AAC is looking really good. It's UCF, it's Cincinnati, and it's Memphis. Memphis has been consistent for the past 3 years. And now it hampers the AAC a little bit, but we'll see how they will recover. I mean, granted, we say that before Norvell came in, and then all of a sudden Norvell comes in, they're still just as good as they were from before. So I'm curious to see what direction Memphis takes, but good for him. I hope that they succeed. I don't want to wish ill on any coach, but we'll see how the AAC as a whole recovers.
Yeah, it is a critical time for Memphis, no doubt about it. And I mentioned to you guys before the show, Frank Murtaugh, who's been on my AAC report several times, has covered Memphis and lived in Memphis forever. And this is the first time Memphis football has been relevant in 40, 50 years. Mm-hmm. So this is, whoever comes in to coach has an opportunity to seize if he's able to run with it.
Right. All right. Again, this is Knightline the morning after on ESPN 580 Orlando. And we're taking your calls, 844-225-5580, or your text at 21232 on the Little Greek Fresh Grill text line. The phone line is the Dever team line. And we're just talking general stuff today. We're talking a little bit about UCF, obviously. And then we're talking about the other stuff as well that's going on. So did you guys watch or get to watch? I didn't have a lot of opportunity to watch football this weekend, unfortunately. I was busy the entire time. If you can see my hands, there's still some grease on them. I've been working on cars the entire weekend so far. So what do you guys think of the slate of championship games besides the American one that we kind of just talked a little bit about?
Well, I tell you that LSU, boy, they to me, they're the best team. I mean, you can definitely make a case for Ohio State, but I think LSU is just a tick better. And if that ends up being the championship game, that's a pretty stout matchup.
So you're saying Ohio State versus LSU?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that with Utah losing on Friday night, I think yesterday was it went exactly the way the College Football Committee probably wanted it to go, in the sense that there's probably zero controversy. We know that Oklahoma's probably going to get that fourth spot, and there's not going to be much argument from multiple fan bases out there. But I would agree with you. I think LSU is the number one team in the country. They're extremely impressive. I mean, ever since Joey Connors destroyed Joe Burrow there in the Fiesta Bowl last year, it seems like he unlocked something inside of him.
He must have. Sometimes a knock to the head will make somebody different for the rest of their lives. I think it happened for that guy, unfortunately. Unfortunately, yeah, our guy was responsible for that. We thought it was going to go the other way.
Yeah, and that Oklahoma Baylor game was a tremendous game yesterday too. And the way Baylor came back, and Matt Rule's got that team in great shape. And
another AAC coach there. So yeah, I thought that the Ohio State game, the comeback that they made was very incredible. Honestly,
absolutely.
Hard to do.
Yeah, it was really interesting in the beginning there, because you were thinking, maybe Wisconsin's going to disrupt this a little bit, even though Ohio State was definitely going to get in. It would be just a matter of seeding at that point, but they turned on the Jets in the second quarter, and that was it.
Chase, what do you think about this week's football action?
They were all incredible. From Memphis, Cincinnati to, I think, the Ohio State one. I think we were all just bewildered in the beginning. Like, wait a minute, Ohio State's down by double digits going to halftime? But Oklahoma Baylor, I think after that Utah loss, it's like, okay, this is pretty much for the title or for the playoff. And you just saw, it was a great game. Kind of not disappointing overtime, but just kind of like a meh overtime. Like, you somehow see Baylor just go to okay, here's another quarterback. Okay, you know what? Let's switch up. We'll go to this quarterback now. And suddenly we're in overtime. Like, are we going to have another Ohio State situation? But other than that, the football was incredible this weekend.
Yeah, I agree for sure. So, yeah, later on we're going to get talking about a little bit more men's basketball. We're going to talk about the bowl game situation, football transfers, Gabe Davis to the NFL, all kinds of stuff here. So we got a couple minutes here, though. Let's talk about, what about Gabe Davis going to the NFL? Let's just throw that one in there right now. What do you guys think about that real quick? And then we'll come back later on and talk about it more.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously going to go down as a top three, if not the best wide receiver in UCF history, and so I'm happy for him. And I think that he's going to do great in the NFL. I'm hoping that he has a great combine, especially from the running standpoint, so he can get up into that, maybe late second round, early third round.
Yeah, because I guess third or fourth round is the projection currently for him. And I mean, you could see it by the Stanford game that he's ready for the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just see it then. And I'm thinking, too, if he does have a good combine, maybe he does slide into the second round. And he is going to be a beast in the NFL. There is no question about that.
Yeah, sorry to see him go, but good for him. He deserves it after this season and the last 2-3 seasons that he's had here. I would have loved to have him back, but we're not going to. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back to Knightline the morning after.
Hold your breath.
The home of the NFL is ESPN 580 Orlando.
Yes!
Another triple header Sunday. First at 1 p.m., the Miami Dolphins look to make it 2 games in a row as they travel to New York to battle the Jets. Then at 4:30, the Kansas City Chiefs take on the New England Patriots. Then on Sunday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks look to gain ground in the NFC West as they battle the LA Rams, who are looking to get back to the Super Bowl themselves. It's all right here on Orlando's home for the NFL. ESPN 580 and FM 96.5 HD2.
International Diamond Center kicks off the holiday shopping season with some truly extraordinary offers for early shoppers. Now through December 15th, we're bringing back our most popular finance option ever, 5 years, 0 interest financing. So you can buy that amazing Christmas gift, pay nothing down, and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. Get her that $5,000 diamond tennis bracelet, just $85 a month. Or that $7,000 diamond pendant or hoop earrings, just $117 a month. Can you say Merry Christmas, honey? Or if you're getting engaged over the holidays, listen to this. Buy any designer ring setting, including Tacori and Verragio, and IDC will give you 30% toward the purchase of your center diamond. That's huge savings on the complete ring. And here's a hot tip. Check shopidc.com daily for secret buys and flash sales on virtually every product category in the store. But hurry, these offers end Sunday the 15th, so it pays to shop early at International Diamond Center, where the real savings are, on approved credit for Orlando locations.
First time since 2005, Employee Pricing Plus is on at Hamilton Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram during our Black Friday sales event. Ram trucks at EP pricing, MSRP $51,800, now from $37,300. Save $14,500. Or it's your choice, Challenger or Charger Scat Packs up to $8,000 off from $35,000. Napleton Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram and Kissimmee and Claremont. All offers plus tax tag $899 processing. The approved credits. See Napleton.com for full program details.
Shoot Straight, a premier Smith & Wesson M&P dealer, cares about Central Florida. They offer concealed carry classes at their 2 Central Florida locations in Apopka and Castleberry. Shoot Straight has all the top brands and is the place to go for anything firearms. They carry brands like Sig Sauer, Beretta, Springfield, and Kimber. Plus, they have gun safes from American Security. Get more info at shoot-straight.com or call 407-889-0842. Shoot Straight, the first choice for anything firearms.
The average car or truck on the road today is 11 years old. Unfortunately, the average part on the average car or truck wasn't designed to last that long. So how do you keep your vehicle running after the warranty runs out? Budget, you pull it. Our self-service auto salvage yard has Winter Garden's largest selection of auto parts at the lowest prices. And with the holidays on the way, you won't overexert yourself or your wallet. Budget, the letter U, pullit.com. We also buy scrap metal in any quantity.
Spice up your company with homemade marketing services from Tasty Gravy Creative. Tasty Gravy serves up a menu of budget-friendly marketing, graphic design, and public relations services customized to your specific goals. Co-owned by a UCF graduate, Tasty Gravy can help refresh your brand, strengthen your online presence, or reinforce your company's message. Contact Tasty Gravy for help with your website, social media, marketing, advertising materials, and more. Visit tastygravy.com.
Home of Monday Night Football is ESPN 580 Orlando. It's a huge NFC East battle as the Philadelphia Eagles take on the New York Giants. Coverage begins at 7:30 right here on ESPN 580 and FM 96.5 HD2. Football lives here.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
Alrighty, we're back live from the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studio here at ESPN 580 Orlando. Taking your calls, 844-225-5580 on the Dever team line, or texting 21232 on the Little Greek Fresh Grill text line. Or you can reach me at AP_Knightline on Twitter. I am Andrew Phegley. We got Ben Stout here. We got Jeff Allen here. And we have Chase Bunker.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I forget that Bunker part sometimes. And though I like that name, it's a cool name.
You're doing a good walk back there.
Thank you.
He's kind of in a bunker over there. So
he is kind of in a bunker, so that will remind me. Yeah, he's in the bunker of the computer monitors and all kinds of stuff over there. All right, so yeah, if you didn't get it, this is Knightline the morning after, and we're talking all kinds of stuff. We're talking UCF stuff. We're talking college football playoff stuff. We're talking all of it, and the imaginary transfer portal. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well. Imaginary as we've never seen this transfer portal, so interesting there. Let's talk about that really quick. Football transfers. Quadri Jones has joined or walked into the portal at some point now. And a couple other guys, honestly, that none of us really know too much about that are in there for UCF. But Quadri Jones was the big one. Expected, I guess?
I think so. He's not going to crack past Dylan Gabriel or Darryl Mack, but he is definitely a talented and worthy quarterback, and I would not be surprised to see him land at Florida A&M. Their quarterback is graduating. He'd be a good fit for them. That's my dark horse pick, at least. I would not be surprised if he landed there, and he would play right away.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope he is able to land in a great situation for him. I mean, I think he's one of those guys that we all know as a fan that he's not going to crack the lineup where he's going to be playing on a consistent basis, not with Dylan Gabriel in front of him, McKenzie maybe coming back. But he's a guy that we're probably always going to root for. I think he's an example of that once a night, always a night guy. And I hope he lands in a great situation for him that they can use all of his skills at the quarterback position, because I know that's what he wants to play. And I'm excited to see where he winds up.
And all he does is throw completions.
Yeah.
He's still 100% completion percentage in college, so I don't think he's going to keep that up at his next spot, but that's pretty exciting.
It is cool that he's able to get that. I think it's great that he's going to get to go someplace else, because he's a very talented kid that didn't really have a chance to see the field very much this year. So he's definitely got the talent to play at any level, but I think maybe the FCS level would be a little bit easier for him. He'll be able to walk in and start playing, which is really cool as far as that goes. I was trying to get to the transfer portal here, which is kind of hard to get to.
This is your mission in life, the transfer portal.
I know. It's so confusing to me, and we were talking earlier about my vision of this transfer portal is this thing from Stargate, basically. You know, if you ever watched that TV show back in the day, that's kind of what I think of this thing as. So there are, some ways to kind of see what's going on in this transfer portal, but it's not the easiest thing. So
it is amazing how much this is changing the landscape of college football, because now it's basically we have free agency in college football. And I think it's, there's a lot of mixed emotions about that, although I will say I think it's good because coaches are allowed to come and go as they please, and the players are the ones who suffer when that happens if they've committed to a coach and a year in, he says adios. So I think this is good for the players. Now, I don't like the aspect of it where, okay, things aren't going my way, I'm going to pick up my ball and go somewhere else. There's that piece of it that's a little, disheartening. But overall, I think it's pretty good.
It kind of makes free agency, though, which I don't know. I mean, it's really more quarterbacks than anything else that it really makes free agency, because those guys, I mean, traditionally you've had to sit and wait for your turn. Now, if you don't like the situation you're in, you can go really pretty easily.
And Oklahoma can just go snag their next quarterback anywhere at any time.
Exactly.
Well, not just Oklahoma, right? The three of the four teams that are going to be in the college football playoffs, at least we think that they're going to be. They're all three of them are transfers. So the only starting quarterback is the starting quarterback of Clemson that is not a transfer from another program. So you can see it at the highest level as well in there.
So Joe Burrow was a transfer.
Joe Burrow
as well?
started out at Ohio State.
Yes, he did.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. All right.
He's had a couple of stops, I believe.
Yeah, so
I think he has, yeah.
For UCF, the guys that are in the transfer portal, another guy, I guess, Dredrion Bakoti, that has had an interesting career at UCF. He's been here for a couple of years. He got injured. I I believe, broke his femur or something like that. So it's been a little while since we've seen him. Never really developed, though, even after the injury, the way that he should have been developed. And I don't know whose fault that was, if that was, the staff's fault or it was his fault or whatever, but he's in there as well. He's a defensive lineman, defensive end, more the size of a linebacker, honestly. And then Isaac Walker, and I don't know who this guy is, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think he was a rotational
defensive tackle.
Yeah, rotational defensive lineman.
Yeah. And then Demetrius Mays is still in there, I believe, from last year. And I don't know. I really don't know his situation either. So,
and I think if you look at the guys that UCF has going in the transfer portal, it's because we're so stacked and so have so much great depth. And now these guys just aren't going to see the field, and they're going to go somewhere else. So I think that is a great testimony to what kind of talent level and the amazing amount of depth we have now at UCF, where guys are leaving just so they can go play.
Yeah,
and I think the one name that we're obviously paying the most attention to hopefully he doesn't go into the transfer portal is Daryl Mack Jr.
Chase has his hand up over here. So.
Well, I just think it's kind of funny now that UCF is at the point where we're having people transfer out, because normally we're the school that just takes transfers.
Right.
Like we had Trey
Brandon
Nixon
Wimbush.
and
Yeah.
Brandon Wimbush, and now I don't think I've ever heard of like a player transfer out of UCF, really. I think the only one was maybe Noah Vandral because he was going to Nebraska.
Right.
But other than that, like, it's crazy to see like these players like, oh, I can't play here, so I'm going to go elsewhere now.
Well, and then that says a lot about the program as well. So, especially with our quarterback situation. But this is interesting as well, because if Daryl Mack would go, we would have one healthy quarterback on our roster. If Quadri Jones and Daryl Mack goes. Brandon Wimbush, the transfer that came in last year, was a grad transfer, so he's out. McKenzie, still not ready to go, obviously. So if we have these guys, we could wind up with Dylan Gabriel being our only healthy quarterback on the roster at this moment.
Yeah, we got Mike Wright coming in, and so it would be a
Hopefully.
freshman backup.
I mean,
right.
we still don't know. Signing day hasn't come,
right.
So we don't know who's coming here. So they're trying to get at least two quarterbacks. So there's a kid from Texas that they're trying to get, and then this Mike Wright kid who has been solid the entire time. I don't think that's going to waver. He looks great on his highlights. We'll have to see what happens when he hits the field. But hopefully that can happen. But if not, it's kind of a weird situation. And this is the kind of situation that I think this transfer portal has created, that you never know. I mean, there's going to be a lot of other quarterbacks in this transfer portal. You never know. There's going to be a lot of guys in other positions. It's not just for quarterbacks. Quarterbacks has been the biggest thing, I think, that's come of it. But there's a lot of players. We've gotten players from here before. We're going to get some more players from there. It is a little bit easier, I think, for the coaching staffs because it kind of puts it all there and it's wide open as far as who wants to transfer, and it makes it a little bit easier, I guess, for them to do that.
I think the question is, where will Daryl Mack go? That's
if Daryl Mack goes,
if he goes, where would he go? I mean, is he got enough bank to go and play at a Power 5, or does he have to go to another G5 school?
I think he's fully capable of playing at a Power 5.
I think so, too.
Yeah. Or, a G5, another G5. He has to sit out a year. I don't know if he wants to do that. He's got ties to this area, though. He's got a child now,
right.
That he had in the off season this year. His family moved here. His parents have jobs here, or his dad does. So I don't know if that's going to happen. I've talked to his dad. I know his dad. And, they're going to look at their options is basically what he told me. So that could go either way. I know that they love it here. I know that Daryl Mack loves it at UCF. So I don't know. I wouldn't count him being gone.
And would Josh Heupel continue to run packages for him as he did during the course of this season?
I would think if he stays, definitely he would do that. I have no question as far as I'm concerned about it.
Yeah, and I think we'd actually see more of that next year because you'd have more of a situation where, where you're able to have an off season where Gabriel is the guy, and then you can run those packages and set those packages in the preseason for that.
Yeah, I don't think no matter who's here as in that quarterback room, Dylan Gabriel is the guy.
No doubt.
Though. Yeah. There's no question about that. Unless, for some reason, somehow, Mackenzie Milton can make it back, I still think that Dylan Gabriel is the guy. We'll talk more about that once we come back from this little break.
Couture Med Spa of Winter Park, Oviedo, and Ocoee, Central Florida's Botox leader, is offering Botox for just $7.97 a unit until December 14th. Couture Med Spa, where luxury meets affordability. Visit CoutureMedSpa.com today.
The holiday season continues at BetOnline.net, and we want to celebrate with you this weekend as some of the best college and pro football matchups of the year are on tap. Follow all the action at BetOnline.net as Conference Championship Weekend is upon us with the top 5 ranked teams in action. Week 14 in the pros features divisional leader San Francisco heading to the Big Easy and KC visiting New England. Before the next kickoff, head over to BetOnline.net for the latest news, scores, and lines. Bring the game home with BetOnline.net.
It pays to shop early at International Diamond Center. Now through December 15th, you get IDC's amazing value price. Pay nothing down and take advantage of 5 years zero-interest financing on any purchase. Guys, that's permission to splurge this holiday season. Get her that $6,000 pair of diamond stud earrings and pay just $100 a month. Or that $10,000 three-stone ring for just $167 a month. Or if you're popping the question over the holidays, here's an amazing offer. Buy any designer engagement ring setting, including Tacori or Veragio, and IDC will give you 30% toward the purchase of your center diamond. At IDC, we're holding nothing back this holiday season. Biggest selection all year, year's best prices, and the year's most aggressive financing. How about a $4,000 eternity band for just $67 a month? You can do it. Plus, check our website daily, shopidc.com, for secret buys and flash sales on the most popular holiday gifts. But don't wait. These amazing offers are available now through Sunday the 15th at 6 p.m. International Diamond Center, where the real savings are. For Orlando locations. Unapproved credit.
Oviedo Brewing Company is the hottest microbrewery in Central Florida. Located 7 miles from UCF at the Oviedo Mall, this 8,800 square foot brewery just opened its doors 6 months ago and has already crafted 13 unique beer flavors and counting in their tap room. The tap room contains different styles of beverages, including ciders, wines, and craft sodas. Not only do they have amazing beers, they also have a full kitchen with gourmet pizzas, wings, and tacos. Oviedo Brewing has activities for each day of the week, such as Taco Tuesdays, Trivia Wednesdays, Pizza and Pint on Thursdays, plus live music on Friday and Saturday evening. But the best is Sunday brunch with unlimited beer mimosas. Need a spot for game day? Oviedo Brewing is just the place with their large TVs to catch all the live games. You'll also find Oviedo Brewing at UCF tailgating sampling beers. And OBC support for the Knights doesn't stop there. If you need a spot for UCF away games, come to Oviedo Brewing Company. You can get all the details on their Instagram or Facebook page. Follow them at Oviedo Brewing CO. Download the Untapped app, and you can find out what beers are on tap. The food menu is also available on their website, OviedoBrewingCO.com.
Sports Center updates at the top and bottom of every hour.
And the latest breaking news in sports around the clock.
This is ESPN 580 Orlando. Whether it's on AM 580, FM 96.5 HD2, Alexa, or Google Home, we are everywhere you hear audio. ESPN 580 Orlando, Orlando's home for the biggest events in sports.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, we're back live. This is Knightline the morning after, live from the Victory Casino Cruises.com studio, home of the only legal sports book in Central Florida. I'm Andrew Phegley. We got Ben Stout, Jeff Allen, and Chase Bunker here with us.
You nailed it.
I know. I got it that time. All right, well, this is Knightline the morning after, obviously, again, and we're talking about UCF stuff. We're talking about football, college playoff, whatever they call that, college football playoff bowl stuff. And we're talking about transfers. We're talking about Mike Norvell to FSU, possibly, still with a question mark. We got all kinds of stuff. Let's get back to basketball real quick, UCF basketball. I mentioned earlier, and I don't know, if people remember me saying this or not, but I asked the question, what are the expectations for men's basketball this season? Because things have changed a little bit as far as, I think they're a little bit better than we thought they were going to be. We had no idea what was going to happen with this team. Ben?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of unknowns going into this season, and one of those unknowns was not only how is this team going to gel together, but what is the type of talent that we have in this roster. And what we've seen through the first 8 games of the season is that they do have a lot of talent and they have a lot of depth as well. And they seem to be working very well together. It was interesting yesterday being at the game and then just thinking about it afterwards. The backcourt of Cesar DeJesus and Dazon Ingram, that is a new backcourt, of course. They've never played with each other prior to this season. And looking back towards last year with Terrell Allen and B.J. Taylor in the same lineup, it seemed to take those guys a lot longer to gel than it's taking Cesar DeJesus and Dazon Ingram in the starting lineup. And those two seem to be gelling very well. They complement each other very well. And I think it's a testament to both of those guys. And it's one of the many reasons why we've gotten off to a great start, and I think the expectations are rising a little bit.
Yeah, and you're talking about an entirely different team from one year to the next. And, we've gone from maybe bottom of the AAC projection to maybe middle of the pack now, and sneaky good. This is a team that's going to sneak up on people, I think.
Yeah, and I think preseason rankings, preseason projections, we talk about it a lot in football, but it's no different in basketball. And I think a lot of the preseason projections for UCF were solely based on the unknown and the amount of players playing together for the very first time, where you had some more known commodities in the Memphis #1 recruiting class, Houston with their solid core and all that. So I think that people are waking up to how good UCF can be.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, Ben, last year Chad Brown was a guy that, to me, everybody loved him. He was a heart and soul kind of guy, which I think good teams have to have. Do we have that guy on this year's team yet, or is it still too early to tell?
I think it's too early to tell, and the way this team is made up, it almost seems like we don't necessarily need the huge injection of energy or that kind of heart and hustle guy quite yet. We have a lot of quiet leaders on this team, a lot of guys that seem to lead by example in Colin Smith and Dazon Ingram, and I think that's what you're seeing. We don't necessarily need that huge injection and personality of Chad Brown.
I think also another thing to note is that we could be 7-1 if that Anaheim court actually drew a 3-point line correctly.
Yeah.
That's crazy how you have hey, we're going to hold a tournament. Let's have 3 3-point lines.
I think there were 4.
There might have been. And they're it's always on the line. Well, which one? There's 5 of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was 4 3-point lines. How do you deal with that as a player? That's crazy.
But you're right. That was a game that would have gone to overtime if his toe was not on the line. And they're playing decent teams to start off, and it was great to see them go to Anaheim and do 2 out of 3. I think that was a very, very profitable road trip for them.
Yeah, that early season tournament feel that I've talked about it numerous times about getting away from campus, getting away from your family and friends, and just having that galvanizing on the road. You're with your brothers and you're playing your game and you're trying to gel together on and off the court. I think that was extremely beneficial to UCF, and so far so good.
Yeah. Well, it's cool that they have been able to do tournaments like that. Those tournaments are really cool. Let's listen to a clip from Johnny Dawkins from yesterday. That would be kind of cool.
I was really pleased with how we started the game. It was one of our best starts of the year. We knew that we had to contain, their team, especially Cooks, because he's had, such a terrific start to the season, averaging almost 24 points a game. I thought early in the game we were able to kind of contain him, which was good for us, and we got off to a good start. We had a stretch in the first half where I thought we had built a lead into the teens. And then I thought we had a couple possessions, both offensively and defensively, that hadn't been typical of us. And that allowed NJIT to make a run. And they're a very good team. If you have any let up like that, they're going to come roaring back. And but to have our guys go back and start the second half and do the same thing again, establish ourselves, establish what we were doing offensively and defensively, and keep building the lead, said a lot about our maturity.
Comments on that?
Well, that run stopping that he just talked about, that was essentially stopped by those 2 straight threes of Darren Green Jr., and he has just been spectacular as a true freshman so far this season. I saw on Twitter yesterday, UCF basketball posted, or maybe it was Dan Forcella posted a video of Darren Green Jr. walking on the court for a noon game, walking on the court at about 8:15
Wow.
with a manager putting up shots. And when you see that from a true freshman, you know that he's for real when he means that he wants to break every one of Matt Williams' records. He wants to be a major contributor on this team. And you saw it yesterday. He hit some big shots, and he continues to play with poise. And the future is so bright with that kid.
I think the future is bright for men's basketball, period. Way brighter than it was in the beginning of the season, because there were so many questions. Those questions are starting to get answered now. They're not all answered, but they're starting to get answered. We'll see what happens when we get into the meat of the conference schedule, obviously.
Yeah, and how about Johnny Dawkins? I mean, this guy can coach.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it. His first season here, he had 6 guys. And what do? They do the NIT. I mean, he definitely has a handle. He knows how to, and I think having defense is the calling card first, and getting guys that can buy into that is just so huge and allows him to work and build on the success that he has achieved so far.
Absolutely. And just remember that last season, at one point, people wanted him fired, which is absolutely crazy.
Those would be idiots.
Well, yes, those would be people
the crazies,
that are not in touch with reality and not paying attention to what's going on.
Exactly the same people that wanted Josh Heupel fired this year for some reason after a 9-3 season. Yes, it was disappointing, but come on, guys, come on. We got to look at the big picture here.
And then all they do is go to the Sweet, a shot away from the Sweet 16.
Right? Absolutely. Play against the number 1 overall seed, and quite frankly, Dawkins might have outcoached the best coach ever.
He did that day.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we got a lot still left to talk about. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back on ESPN 580 Orlando.
Hold your breath. The home of the NFL is ESPN 580 Orlando. Yes! Another triple header Sunday. First at 1 p.m., the Miami Dolphins look to make it 2 games in a row as they travel to New York to battle the Jets. Then at 4:30, the Kansas City Chiefs take on the New England Patriots. Then on Sunday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks look to gain ground in the NFC West as they battle the LA Rams, who are looking to get back to the Super Bowl themselves. It's all right here on Orlando's home for the NFL. ESPN 580 and FM 96.5 HD2.
The average car or truck on the road today is 11 years old. Unfortunately, the average part on the average car or truck wasn't designed to last that long. So how do you keep your vehicle running after the warranty runs out? Budget, you pull it. Our self-service auto salvage yard has Winter Garden's largest selection of auto parts at the lowest prices. And with the holidays on the way, you won't overexert yourself or your wallet. Budget, the letter U, pullit.com. We also buy scrap metal in any quantity.
You've heard us talk about the great food at our good friend Kyle Israel's restaurant, The Little Greek Fresh Grill. The Little Greek now has franchises available. Please call 407-697-2272. That's 407-697-2272 to see what The Little Greek can do for you. Also, check out The Little Greek's newest location at 3131 Daniels Road, Suite 104, Winter Garden, Florida. The Little Greek Fresh Grill. Fresh, flavorful, fabulous. Every child in Central Florida deserves a toy at Christmas. But unfortunately, not every local family can provide that Christmas cheer. Hearts Helping Others of Central Florida is once again teaming with local businesses for their annual toy drive, and we need you. For years now, Hearts Helping Others of Central Florida has supported local Central Florida families in need with many programs, providing food, clothing, resources, and services. They do this regardless of the income bracket of the family, because every family could be just one paycheck away from financial disaster. During the holidays, things can be even worse for these families in need. For the next 2 weeks, you can drop off new unwrapped toys for ages newborn through 17 years old at one of our many drop-off locations. These include 5-Day Cabinets in Castleberry, O'Reilly Auto Parts in Apopka, Stefano's Restaurant in Winter Springs, Shovelhead Lounge in Longwood, and First Institute in College Park. The toy drive supports local families that may need a little help at this time of the year, and you, our Central Florida residents and local businesses, have a chance to provide the toys Hearts Helping Others will give away in its holiday support program this month. You can also donate financially through their website at heartshelpingotherscfl.com. Become a donor for the holidays or a monthly partner. Find us on Facebook or PayPal at heartshelpingothers7@gmail.com. Hearts Helping Others. We can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone.
The home of Monday Night Football is ESPN 580 Orlando. It's a huge NFC East battle as the Philadelphia Eagles take on the New York Giants. Coverage begins at 7:30 right here on ESPN 580 and FM 96.5 HD2. Football lives here.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, that is correct. This is Knightline, the morning after. I'm Andrew Phegley, and we're coming live from the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studio at ESPN 580 Orlando. Taking your calls, 844-225-5580 on the Dever team line, and taking your texts, 21232 on the Little Greek Fresh Grill text line, or reaching me at AP_Knightline on Twitter. We got Ben Stout, Jeff Allen, Chase Bunker. We got all kinds of stuff. In this final segment, I want to talk a little bit more about this volleyball game and the season that UCF had in volleyball. What a great season. Todd Dagenais has to be absolutely one of the best volleyball coaches in the United States, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, another fantastic Danny White hire, right? Like,
yeah,
it's just I mean, listening to his post game speech the other night after they dropped it to the Gators. I mean, I was listening to it and I'm like, man, I wouldn't mind my daughters playing volleyball for that guy.
Absolutely,
Holy cow. I mean,
no question.
You can tell that he's got those got those young women playing fantastic and the best of their abilities.
Speaking of that, let's hear a little bit of that clip right now.
Understandably, you're going to see some tears, and I want you to know that some of that is tears of sadness. A great part of that is tears of a journey that's come to an end for 5 people, 2 of which are here in front of you, that have completely turned the trajectory of a program into a direction that we've always had a vision we wanted it to go. And that was breaking through to the elite level of teams. Now, today I thought we ran into not only an elite team, but an elite team with 20 years of being elite plus behind it. I give Mary, Shannon, Dave a ton of credit for what they've done with this group this year. I know they've had to do it with injuries, and I honestly believe that with their size, if they can handle the ball, they serve well, that is a Final Four team. There's no doubt in my mind.
All right, well, there was what you were talking about. And I edited that a bit. I took a lot of space out between phrases that he was saying there because that was a very calculated statement. It was just a very emotional statement. It took, it was a really long statement, so I took a little bit of time out just between statements there to make it a little bit better. I did not edit anything that he said, obviously, but just for time. So, he said exactly the right things.
Yeah, and you talk about his demeanor, and you look at how this team handles adversity. I mean, they were down against Cincinnati in the conference championship tournament. They were down against FSU, who they beat for the first time since, 84, I think it was. So you can see how his leadership just resonates with those girls. It's tremendous.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know much more that we can talk about that, to be honest with you. Let's get to this bowl game thing real quick. I said at the beginning, what bowl game do you think that we'll be in? Do we have predictions as far as that goes? I'm going to say it's going to be something against FSU. I think they're going to make it happen somehow. I don't think it's going to be Mike Norvell coaching in that. I hope that he will go and coach Memphis in their bowl game. But I think somehow either the Gasparilla Bowl or the one that's up in
the Military Bowl.
The Military Bowl or Belk or whatever, I think somehow somebody is going to figure this out where UCF can play FSU in a bowl game.
So right now I actually have ESPN's bowl projections up. So somebody says either the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl against UAB or the Military Bowl against Pitt.
Oh, that would be
rematch.
Interesting.
The rematch.
I haven't heard that one yet.
I would like that.
Yeah,
I would totally love that.
I'll take that if we can't play FSU.
If we beat them, do we get to burn their shirts?
I hope so. We can make our own shirt. Not the second time, or whatever. We'll make our own shirts. I'll make the shirts.
I think the most likely scenario, I think Danny White seems to be kind of jockeying for position on it, is that Military Bowl up in D.C. area. I see that as an opportunity to face an ACC team. I think that's what he sees it as, and I would love to be able to face either FSU or Miami in that game, just to play an in-state opponent. And we've got a lot of alumni up in that area too. I think it would be a good travel destination for it.
I've heard that they're pushing that bowl though, but then again, from inside people, I have heard that they really wanted that bowl against FSU somewhere. So
yeah.
I'm hearing conflicting things from people on the inside. So, I guess it's always like that. But if this Pitt thing could happen, I'm all for that.
Yeah,
that would be awesome because I think that we could win that game. We should have won that game the first time.
Yes,
I think definitely we can win this game the second time if that happens. I think that's awesome, and I can't wait. Tonight, later on. By the time we do Knightline, the podcast, we'll probably know while we're doing it. We'll be watching that very closely, as well as watching my Chiefs, of course, because they will be on national television later on playing the dreaded Patriots.
Yeah, so what happens if we get into a lesser bowl and it's against an opponent that doesn't light our fire? I mean, we're not allowed now to say, well, we're not motivated because we've heard that argument used against us many times. So we're not allowed to do that. So I think that's something we'd have to guard against heavily.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. Chase, you got any opinions on this?
I would rather see... I would prefer the in-state game. Now that I've seen this Pitt thing, I'm slowly selling myself on this. I did a whole segment on like these. I would prefer a Pitt or Miami, a FSU or Miami game, so we can beat them and then get the inevitable excuse of, well, they just didn't really care.
Yeah,
but
I'm intrigued by this Pittsburgh thing,
I'm slowly.
That's the first time I've heard that.
Yeah, me too. I feel like if I would want to get revenge on any loss, it probably would be the Pitt loss. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. No question.
Especially the way they acted after that game.
Yeah.
And during the game.
Yeah.
Yes, that too.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm definitely good with that. We only got like a very, very short time left here. I want to thank you guys for being here. Really appreciate it. Chase, obviously, for doing a masterful job out there. And all that stuff. I really appreciate you guys, Jeff and Ben, for being here. I did that backwards. I pointed to the wrong guy when I said, I do know your names.
Guy.
I promise you I know everybody's names here. Bunker, I have a little bit of an issue with. But besides that, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate everybody that's listened, all that. So thank you very much. Final words very, very, very quickly.
I was just going to say thanks for having us.
Yep, thanks, and we'll see if Norvell coaches the bowl game.
Go Knights. Let's hope for a good bowl game, an in-state or Pitt.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be watching very, very closely these developments tonight, and then we'll find out all the rest of the bowls as well. It is bowl season. It's exciting. Very, very exciting. I love bowl season. All right, we'll see you next week. Same place,